Welcome to the main features added in the second quarter of 2025 video. We will learn the main functionalities added to Denodo during that period of time. This is the agenda for this module. We will cover some main features, all of them related to the new version of Denodo, the Denodo Platform 8.0 Update 11. In this video, we will start with some general enhancements related to Virtual DataPort. The Denodo Platform adds several enhancements listed here. The ODBC interface has been improved to recognize the queries executed by Databricks to inspect Denodo's catalog, allowing Denodo to be integrated as an external catalog in Databricks. Virtual DataPort now includes a configuration property to allow setting the precision for datetime values on the ODBC interface to use milliseconds or microseconds. When importing a JAR that contains methods already predefined in the VDP, the logs now show a warning message instead of an error message, improving clarity during the migration of the XTRA-FUNCTS. Now it is possible to use the native Virtual DataPort's HTTP route mechanism, which removes the need to configure HTTP access and configuration at the wrappers in a manual/artisan way. The Denodo platform adds several enhancements to the adapters that can be used as a data source. Added support for using Microsoft Fabric Warehouse. Graphical support was added in Design Studio to support pagination with indices in post methods while using JSON/XMLTF sources. New query optimization features have been introduced to improve performance and efficiency when handling subqueries. In detail, the following changes have been included. Added support to delegate new functions to the data sources. It has been discovered that the option "parenthesis in endjoins" available in the MS Fabric adapter may produce performance degradation when delegating nested joins to MS Fabric, so it will be necessary to disable this option by default in this adapter. Other general performance enhancements are many improvements on cached views, joins, unions, and subqueries in Aware. The performance of the command list databases info has been improved. It improved the time spent processing dependencies with jars and maps while loading VQL in promotion mode, because now the modifications for these dependencies can be stored at the end of the promotion. And the catalog_VDP_metadata_views and catalog_metadata_views have improved their performance. The handling of object storage, Presto integration, and base view management have been enhanced in the Denodo Platform Integrated MPP. The details of those changes are: now supports graphical introspection of uniform table format. Some S3-compatible storage systems, when creating a remote table, can fail when it requires uploading files from Denodo to the file system if it does not support the copy command specifying a folder as destination. When a query plan applies embedded MPP acceleration, auxiliary queries sent from Presto to Denodo to get the data outside the storage now uses the same timeout as the original query. Procedures related to the MPP engine has also received some enhancements. The Discover Object Storage MPP procedure was updated to avoid registering new routes in the embedded MPP data source when there are others that can be reused, and to reduce the number of requests sent. The compute_source_table_stats procedure now is computing all the stats when using full cache, and the cache data source is the embedded MPP. The new procedure expire_snapshots has been added to remove iceberg snapshots associated with a view. Related to performance in Virtual DataPort, the following enhancements has been included. Now it is possible to restrict the data movement between databases. Query timeouts has been added to non-select commands. Now it is possible to cancel insert, delete, and update requests. Added support for TCPS connections and JDBC Oracle data sources for bulk load. Other enhancements included in Virtual DataPort related to the performance are: when a problem happens at optimization phase while creating a remote table, now the command can return an error in certain scenarios without being finally executed. When Denodo processes a request using the context clause _query limit, the outgoing statement generated for the underlying data source now includes the limit. New security and user management features have been introduced to enhance access control and role management. In order to execute a view in Denodo, the privileges that are taken into account are the ones on those roles that have execution privilege on the view. Those are the active roles for the query. This includes indirect access, but also fine-grained privileges like row restrictions and masking. This way, if a data steward grants a role, quote, indirect access to a view, it means that role will be able to access the data from a derived view that same role can execute. Now, Virtual DataPort restricts the scope of the active roles to the ones with execute privilege on the top view, allows to have more control and certainty over the dataset each user will see when they execute the view. Finally, different changes have been made to role permissions. More enhancements include additional functionality and improvements have been introduced to enhance the usability and performance of HTTP routes, security, JSON base views, and ODBC drivers. The details are: now, in a VQL procedure, it is possible to read the error code and description that is returned from the data source when an error is generated. Added support for multi-valued view parameters. Now it is possible to use common table expressions, CTEs, as subqueries in queries. Improvements in introspecting on Postgres and Databricks with compound type fields, and when some schemas are not accessible. Now Virtual DataPort has a configuration property to configure an alternative way to process arrays from web service data sources. Support for pagination with indices in post methods while using JSON/XML/DF data sources. Added a configuration property to disable introspection of stored procedures when importing from Oracle data sources. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching.